σωστά. Και έχετε κάποιο ενδιαφέρον για την entrepreneurship, μάλλον. Εντάξει. Κάποιοι πιάνετε για credit μόνο. Ευχαριστώ μου, μιλούν πίσω. Έχουμε ένα θέμα με την επικοινωνία. Απλώς λέτε ναι, όχι. Απλώς για να μην κοιμίζετε, λέω να μένει. Λοιπόν. Πιο πρακτικά τα πράγματα που κάνω εγώ, γιατί είμαι entrepreneur, είμαι founder εταιρείας και μιλώ για τις πραγματικότητες. Μιλώ τόσο πολλά θεωρητικά ή ακαδημικά πράγματα. Μιλώ για το πράξη, το θέλω να κάνω το πράγμα όπως είναι να παπουδάνω στο μένα. Επίσης, αν οποιοδήποτε από εσάς, μετά από σήμερα, θέλει οποιαδήποτε βοήθεια για κάτι που θέλει να χτίσει, και την touch with me. Εντάξει. Βοηθώ, κάνω mentor, βρίσκω τις ευκαιρίες, θα προχωρήσετε. Οπότε έχετε υπόψη σας το πράγμα. Okay? Επίσης, οποιοδήποτε θα έχει κάποια ιδέα την οποία σκέφτεται, θα σας κάνω γκριλ. Απλώς ρωτώ. Οτιδήποτε για να λύσετε κάποιο πρόβλημα μέσω κάποιου προϊόντος ή μέσω κάποιου service. Σκέφτεσαι να κάνεις κάτι σε φάσμα εταιρείας. Ναι. Κάποιος άλλος. Ναι. Ξέρετε ότι υπάρχει το SINN, το Student Innovator, ναι. Εντάξει, κάνετε αιτήσεις. Okay. Είναι super easy process. Κάνετε αιτήσεις γιατί κάπως έτσι αρχίζει η διαδικασία. Και πολλά καλά που το έχω πανεπιστήμιο, δεν έχουν πολλά πανεπιστήμια με το πράγμα. Γενικά, όχι μιλώ για Κύπρο, γενικά παγκόσμια έχουν τα πανεπιστήμια με το initiative. Είναι κάτι που έχουμε δάμε, οπότε πιάστε το αν έχετε οποιαδήποτε ιδέα. Σε οποιαδήποτε φάση είσαστε, give it a shot. Okay, so if I speak in English, it's a bit easier on me, so is that okay? Alright. Don't look okay. Is that okay?
Right next to
Alright, so a bit of a background of who I am. And I want this to be interactive, so please stop me and ask me questions at any given point, otherwise I'm not going to feel like I'm doing anything. Alright? Because I don't want to just talk. So my name is Maria. I'm the founder of Heroes Made, which is an edtech company. I think there's only 2 edtech companies from Cyprus. It's not a very traditional way of it. Usually we have fintech and other industries here. So educational technologies, these all started for me years ago when I had a personal incident. My kid got bullied in school, and I realized that that's a serious issue because even though it's seemingly innocent, it creates mechanisms of defense in people, and then we grow up having a certain set of belief systems that restrains us because we lack trust, awareness, we lack the freedom, or so we think, to take certain decisions, and it holds people back until they're of a certain age and already went through 20, 25 years trying to get the confidence. So I discovered that there is this field called social emotional learning, which is very, very complex, and I decided that I wanted to make it super simple so I can put it in schools globally. And I created technology around this concept, and we integrated with global integrators, and now we're getting into schools in various countries. And the point is to teach kids not to exchange information and data, which is the academic part, but to teach them the resilience and the growth mindset from a young age, so it's second nature, so they can leave school and really pursue the life they want. So that's what I do. I do social emotional learning for education. And it came from a personal problem I had. And this is going to take us to our first slide. This is a little bit unstructured, right? It's a story. It's not going to be how to make a business plan or how to do financials or sustainability or any of the things that don't really matter before you actually have an idea, okay? So when it comes time for you guys to say what you learned here today, you can just copy-paste what this presentation has, okay? So let's see. The biggest companies out there solved a problem. doesn't have to be groundbreaking. You don't have to go to Mars. You don't have to create the next Google. But if you create something that solves a problem for a certain number of people, you have a company. So, just for fun, I want everybody to tell me a problem, every single one of you, and I'm going to point at you. So, start thinking. That given the opportunity, if I were to give you 100,000 euros right now, you would be willing to tackle. Okay? So let's start with you, because you sat at the front, I'm sorry. So what's a problem that you would perhaps like to tackle? If I gave you 100,000 today and you didn't have an option to say no, you had to do it.
So my interest is to become a researcher, but I noticed that AI is becoming better. So my idea for a startup is to use AI to automate parts of the research.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant, and it's very needed because research has gotten very chaotic. Very chaotic. So that's a great idea, and you would solve a problem for a really big group of people out there. Let's go to you. You. Yes. I'm going to come for yes. So any problem, $100,000 right now on the table, what would you do?
I would say again AI because...
That's fine, AI, but in what? In what industry? Think about it. Let's go. I want to come back to you. How about you? Yes, ναι, πέτω στα ελληνικά, μιλώ ελληνικά. Okay.
Πάλι με τη χρήση τεχνητής νοημοσύνης.
Σαν predictive ή σαν κάτι το οποίο να μπορεί να βοηθήσει πώς, γιατί δεν ξέρω κάτι για το θέμα.
Παραπάνω predictive για να προετοιμαζόμαστε καλύτερα για το διάστημα.
Θέλω βοήθεια στην Κύπρο, γιατί ό,τι λαλούν γίνεται. Κάμε το. Γι' αυτό είναι η καλοκαιρινά σήμερα, σχεδόν μας την κίτρινη προειδοποίηση. Εσύ.
Ίσως κάτι με food waste, με τα εστιατόρια ή καφετέριες.
Οκ, πολλά ωραία. Σκεφτείες το AI που να το βάλεις. Τι είναι ο κλάδος σου?
Mechanical engineering.
Έχει οποιοδήποτε πρόβλημα στο industry σου, το οποίο είναι είτε tedious, waste time, waste money, or οτιδήποτε, waste resources. Something that can be done better. Is everything perfect?
Βασικά στο ιδιωτικό τομέα, ναι, στο δημόσιο όταν να βρεθεί κάποια λύση, ας πούμε, να γίνουν κάποια πράγματα για να μειώσει την γραφειοκρατία, ας πούμε.
Τέλειο. Very needed. Το δικό σου, είναι πολύ καλό. Έχει παρόμοιες ιδέες που περιτριγυρίζουν τη στιγμή, αλλά η κάθε ιδέα έχει το δικό της feature, οπότε έχει πολύ room για growth. Εσύ?
Κάτι για να βοηθήσει να το αναπηρίες, ας πούμε.
Πάρα πολύ καλό. Έχει πάρα πολλά grants για έτσι θέματα, για impact.
Ίσως κάποια συσκευή η οποία σε βοηθά να εντοπίζεις πιο πολλά πράγματα που πρέπει να επηρεάζουν σαν άνθρωπο. Οπότε να σε ειδοποιεί ότι σε που είσαι το δύσκολο, ας πούμε, στην φάση. Οπότε να σε ειδοποιεί
Τέλεια.
στα μέτρα σου.
Έχουμε μια εταιρεία στην Κύπρο που μέσα στο ίδιο portfolio που είμαι και εγώ, οι MBO-diagnostics, κάνουν το πράγμα, αλλά δεν σημαίνει ότι υπάρχει room for growth, γιατί να δεις να μπορεί κάποιος και να το κάνεις καλύτερα. That's it. And there is a lot of need for that, ειδικά. Και αν με βάλουμε την Κύπρο μέσα, πιένε Σαουρί ή οπουδήποτε, είναι να πνείς. Sí.
Οι browsers που έχουμε, να ανοίξεις το ίντερνετ, θεωρητικά με έναν αποφασισμένοι που σου πω τρεις βασικές εταιρείες, το Gmail ελέγχουν για το πώς θα πράξεις.
Το decentralized search.
Όχι μόνο search, γενικά browser, οτιδήποτε έχεις.
Κάμε το. Δεν ξαναβούμε κάποιον, γιατί όχι.
Αν ήταν εύκολο να...
Δεν έχει κάτι εύκολο, αλλά ξέρεις τι είναι πιο δύσκολο. Να μην κάνεις τι που θέλεις. Και να είσαι 80 σου να πεις να μου κάνω. Οπότε, οκ. Sí.
Ένα sensor το οποίο είναι να βλέπει στα heights κάτω από επικίνδυνο νερό. Και άμα δουλώνει τέλος πάντων να κάνουμε optimization στο AI.
Θέλω το, κάμε το. Έχω πρόβλημα στο λίγο. Τέλεια. Πολλά καλή ιδέα. Και δεν ξέρω αν υπάρχει κάτι. Δεν υπάρχει, κάμε το.
Έχει κάτι πολλά archives, τα οποία κάνουν κάποια μερικά πράγματα. Κάποια features, CPS, κάποια features. Δεν έχει κάτι combined με GPS και το GPS του σύλλον να πιάνει καλά το area
Πολλά σημαντικό και ο σύλλος μου φεύγει σχεδόν κάθε εβδομάδα. Οπότε, ναι, φέρνει μου τον πίσω, έμαθαν πλέον. Ούλοι. Ό,τι και να κάνω φεύγει. Εκτός αν τον κλείσω στο σπίτι μου, πρώτα μου σπίτι, για να βγήσει. He's a master escape artist, γιατί βράμε τον μέσα στα χωράφια που κάπου αλλού είχε κάνει escape και κάναμε το rescue. Αλλά ήταν trained να κάνει escape ο τύπος. Ξέρω αν που του κάμασαι. Και ό,τι και να κάνω, he's escaping. Και δεν κάνει κάτι, απλώς κάθεται έξω από το καντζέλι και σωροφκεί τον ο Δήμος. Και φέρνει μου πίσω μετά.
Με τα boundaries που να το κάνεις set, θα τους στέλνει ένα email, ένα μήνυμα.
Θέλω το. Και πολλά ωραίες ιδέες δάμε. Wow, και από που νομίζεις ότι ακούσεις τα ούλα, it's unbelievable.
Ίσως κάτι να μην κατά τον μεγάλο υποθέτηση μου π.χ.
Και αυτό είναι πολύ σημαντικό.
Οτιδήποτε ένα ζωικό να κάνουμε.
So it's like a bracelet with sensors, κάτι που μπορούν να χωρούν.
Νομίζω ότι θα έχεις για να προλάβουμε κάτι στην ζωή στην ανθρωπίση.
Very good. Έχω φίλοι που παθαίνουν τα πράγματα συχνά, δεν σίγουρα τον λόγο ακόμα. Πες μου.
Είχα οργανώσει ένα project που ήταν να κάνουμε develop ένα application, στο οποίο ενώσχει κάπως σαν τη μορφή Instagram και Twitter Advisor μαζί, δηλαδή δείχνουμε πάρα πολλές πληροφορίες, πάρα πολλούς τεχνολόγους και δείχνουμε μπορεί να πάμε, μπορεί να
Ναι, ναι, ναι.
να μπορείς να παίρνεις τσαμέ, να βλέπεις το κεφί σου, να βλέπεις τους στόχους, εικόνες, αλλά θα το βλέπεις με έναν άκυρο μοντέλο πλατφόρμα.
Επιάζει.
Θα το βλέπεις από τους φίλους σου.
Ωραία ιδέα, γιατί είναι λίγο χάος η κατάσταση.
Οργανωτιστοποίηση παραγωγής συνθηκών σε περιεχόμενο περιβάλλον.
Οκ. Να πεις αυτό, δεν άκουσα ότι μια είναι ανταγωνιστική. Ας πούμε έχει κάποιους που έχουν κάτι παρόμοιο με άλλους. This is brilliant. Το μεταξύ, ούλοι σας αίτηση. Αν δεν κάνετε αίτηση, ξέρω ποιοι είσαστε τώρα. Οπότε, ναι, εσύ.
Budget advisory για grocery shopping και τα λοιπά. Με βοήθεια, για παράδειγμα, έναν έλεγχο από πίσω, να το πεις έχω 100 ευρώ και θέλω να μία με grocery shopping που να παραγωγήσω πράγματα που φέρνουν τα εσύ.
Πολλά ωραίο. I mean, huge. Oh, ναι. Λέω, έχω κάποια θέματα. Ναι.
Βασικά ήταν αναπτυχή ένα application με smart sensors, πολλά δεδομένων, με κάποιον τρόπο π.χ. σε άτομα που έχουν disabilities, κυρίως άτομα που έχουν αισθήση, είτε μορφής κυρίως. Έτσι ώστε να μπορούν να τους προσοδεύει οποιαδήποτε εγκάματα ή του θερμοκρασία, είτε λόγω ψηλή, χαμηλή πH, μπορεί να πάθει οποιοδήποτε εγκάμα στο σπίτι. Έτσι ώστε να προσοδεύει.
Είναι το ίδιο πράγμα που είπες, αλλά να σου πω μια εταιρεία που κάνει haptics στην Κύπρο, η οποία πιάσε πολλά σοβαρό attention παγκόσμια, είναι η Airy Robot, μέσα στο portfolio που είμαι και εγώ, που επενδυτές, και σε κάποια φάση να θέλουν και κόσμο να δουλέψουν για εκείνους, so it could be a very, very good learning curve for you to see what they have, and you never know. Αλλά μπορεί να δεις πολλά ωραία ιδέα σου μαζί με τα πράγματα που κάνουν and grow even faster, οπότε Airy Robot, κοίταξε τους. Ναι.
Ένα application που φυσικά όπως το μου αλλά μια εστιατόρια που θα θέτει το ότι έχουμε άλλο που μπορούμε να επισκεφτούμε, που μπορεί να μας προτείνει, να μας κάνει πρόγραμμα για μια εμπειρία για φαΐ, για κάποιον άλλο.
Πολλά ωραία, ναι, γιατί υπάρχει fatigue.
Υπάρχομαστε να επιφράξουμε.
Ναι, υπάρχει ένα general fatigue, δεν ξέρεις να μου να κάνεις βασικά. Και ναι, και έτσι βοηθάς να βγεις και από τη φάση του να κάνεις συνέχεια τα ίδια, που κάνει πολλοί κόσμος.
Και βοηθά τις μικρές επιχειρήσεις που δεν ξέρουμε να προωθηθούν.
Αρέσκουν μου όλες οι ιδέες σας, εσύ.
Μπορεί για παράδειγμα για τη βοήθεια κάποιου παιδίου, π.χ. ρομποτική ιατρική, να εφαρμοστεί τώρα για αριστερή ρομποτική ιατρική, για να βοηθήσει τους γιατρούς να δουλεύουν τόσες πολλές ώρες π.χ. σε μια επιχείρηση.
Οκ, πάρα πολλά ambitious. Είσαι medical?
Όχι.
Εσύ. Okay. Very nice. So, let's move to this side of the room. Εσύ.
Το παίρνω ρομποτική ήταν να πω, αλλά νομίζω καλύψαν το.
Παρομοιο.
Ναι.
Κάμετε αίτηση μαζί στο συν. Because you need more than one person on the application, you know that. You cannot be a solo team. See?
Το κάνει με τεχνολογία, το AI, αλλά δεν σχετικά κάτι.
Συγκεκριμένο τομέα ακόμα, οκ. Είσαι μαζί με τον κύριο εδώ που σκέφτεται τομέα ακόμα. Όχι. Κάτι μου είπες όμως, εξίασα το.
Ναι, για το δημόσιο.
Δημόσιο, ναι. Όχι πρέπει να έρθουμε πίσω σε εσένα, μπορεί να σου έρθει ιδέα ύστερα. Εσύ?
Βασικά, μια συνδρομητική εφαρμογή που να βοηθά να διαχειριστούν καλύτερα τα χρήματα τους
για να κάνουμε shopping. So I don't know if you guys have people to do this with, or if you don't, you can come together and do an application and have both features on, because it's the same subject. You.
You asked me about
If you have an idea that you want to pursue, like if you have any problems that if I gave you 100,000 euros today, that you would actually try and solve. You want to think about it? Yeah. All right. You're not leaving until you tell me. Okay. See. Yes. Okay, so the question is, if I were to give you $100,000 today and you had to solve one problem, what would you solve? Think about it. See.
Εγώ να ήθελα να κάνω μια νανομετράλη, η οποία υπολείται πάνω από τα φωτοβολταϊκά, έτσι ώστε να μην κολλούν εικόνες και να είναι πάντα καθαρά, για να επειδή στην Κύπρο συνήθως πας στην
Ναι, πέφτει η απόδοση που τις εικόνες.
η απόδοση του φωτοβολταϊκού.
Πολλά καλή ιδέα. Alright. Με βράνει, δεν το ξανακούσα, άκουσα άλλους που θέλουν να κάνουν self-cleaning.
Που είναι οι φανέλες που να με υλικό μέσα, που αν τους ρίχνει νερό και
έπιασε. Ναι.
Κάπως έτσι να είναι, να μην κολλά ούτε το νερό, ούτε...
Τέλειο. Εσύ.
Εγώ σκέφτηκα ότι τα τελευταία καιρό έχουμε πολλούς άλλους στο ποδόσφαιρο. Τη ώρα που παίζουν στο μάτς, ας πούμε, να ελέγχουν καλύτερα μέσω κάποιος εφαρμογής πάνω στο...
Έχουν sensors και κάποιον να θωρεί.
Ναι, την καρδία...
Μα είναι μόνο για ποδόσφαιρο, μπορεί να γίνει για όλα τα...
Ναι.
That's spectacular. Μπορείς να σε κάνει hunting, είναι όλα spectacular, απλώς κάποια πράγματα γυρίζει πιο εύκολο όπως να τρέξεις. Μπορεί να σε κάνει hunting πολύ εύκολα οποιαδήποτε ομάδα που θέλει να επενδύσει, γιατί οι CGG που αγοράζουν ομάδες, they're into just trying things out. So if you find someone like that, ο John Christodoulidis, ας πούμε, που αγοράζει την Ομόνια, he's like a huge philanthropist. He worries about things, he does things that have impact. If you pitch it, you never know. Εσύ?
Ο στρατός. Εφαρμόζεται πολύ στο στρατός.
Εφαρμόζεται?
Να έχεις τα βαρύτητα σου, τα στρατηγό, το μέδικο, είναι θέμα χρόνος.
Αλλά φορούν το?
Έχουν πολύ εξαρτησία, δεν νομίζω να... Όχι, λέω ότι εφαρμόζεται.
Τα είχαν μπορούσε να εφαρμοστεί. Ναι, σίγουρα. Νομίζω ότι έχουμε έτσι πράγματα και να πω wow. So, yeah, you?
Ίσως κάποια πλατφόρμα που να μπορέσει να βοηθήσει νέους για να λύσει το στεγαστικό το πρόβλημα με external funders, ας πούμε.
Πολλά καλό και τούτο. Very ambitious project. Λίγο πιο δύσκολο όταν υπάρχει το revenue model μέσα, ώστε να βγάλει λεφτά. Να πρέπει να βρεις philanthropists, or grants, or other budget situations within the country stuff. Πάρα πολλά καλό. Χρειάζεται να γίνει very ambitious. Αλλά να έβρεις τρόπο κάμε το. Σε κάποιο το small scale, κάμε για 5, για 10, για... Έχει the capsules houses maybe, I don't know. Like, I know that's not what you're thinking more of a program.
Ναι, βασικά το που είπετε εσείς, μπορεί να είναι και κάπως σαν charity, μπορεί να μην έχουν κέρδος και προσφέρουν, αλλά πρέπει να θέλουν να προσφέρουν.
Okay. Χθες τη νύχτα μιλούσα με κάποιον, someone in Canada, who decided to do something similar. So what he did is he went up in the boonies, he bought a lot of land, and he built like really small houses, and he invited all the creatives, which is, we're talking about at least 3,000-4,000 people. He created a community, and he told them, you will live here for free, but I need you to give me 20 hours of your week to help others grow. And now what they're doing, they're building a community where people like you have an idea but you don't know where to start, you would go to him, he would put people on this idea to help you grow it, and they get free housing. You know what I mean? And literally I had this discussion last night, but it's a little bit different because they don't live independently. It's like a community and they have to share a lot of things. So it's mostly for younger, not for families. You attend.
Για αυτοκινήτου που να έχουν πάνω ενσωματωμένο κάτι όπως την πισίδα που να σε κάνει εικόνες στο αυτοκίνητο για να μην το κάνεις στο πάρκινγκ.
Δεν είναι ωραίο. Είναι και ο πληθυσμός θα το Okay, about them. And πάρα πολλά refreshing να είναι σε ένα δωμάτιο with people that actually have ideas. And I really hope that you do something, whether with this idea or the next idea, because ultimately it is your responsibility to do something with this if it landed on you as a thought, if it landed on you as a suggestion, if it landed to you because you were going through a personal problem. It is your responsibility to carry through. Nobody else is going to do it for you, and that is a very important thing to understand with everything in life. So the sooner you take charge, the sooner you're going to grow and prosper and be able to offer back. And there's no right age. You can start when you're 10, you can start when you're 20, you can start when you're 40, but obviously the sooner the better, so you can enjoy life a little bit more. So the next thing is, there isn't a single business that I know that has failed. There's people that have quit. So I'm going to tell you about me a little bit. My idea had a different form for 2 years. I ran it. It wasn't picking up ground because it involved logistics and shipping, and it was a print type of series of books and all that stuff. And it wasn't picking up, right? I mean, I had clients, but the margins were high. And when investors spotted us and they said, let's pivot the idea and let's make it into technology, plug it into the schools, we started all over again. And we keep pushing. And now we're almost like 5 years in, and now it's taken roots. And during these 5 years, I've had consistently plenty of moments when I wanted to quit. So the idea wouldn't fail because the idea is brilliant. It would only fail if I stop. So you don't have to stop. It's going to be difficult. Whatever it is you decide to build is going to be difficult because it's now a figment of your imagination, and you've got to materialize it in a physical world. You've got to bring it in from your head to reality. And that is a huge thing, but also it is the biggest thing you're going to learn to do in life. It's literally manifesting. It's learning how to make something that you think into reality. And it's the biggest power you hold as a human. That's why entrepreneurship, to me, it's not just a job. Everybody you will meet in the arena of entrepreneurship, they are all people that behave at a higher level. And they didn't start like that. They learn to be like that because of this process and how much you need to control your thought process, yourself, your words, in the process, and not allow yourself to be a victim of your brain, which tells you a lot of things that you don't want to do, which is quit, this is not good, I should be better, I'm late, someone else is doing it better than me. All that bullshit is going to come up. The only way you will fail is if you stop. So that's my 2 cents, right? Is there any value in what I'm telling you here today? You guys feeling like I'm giving you any information? Because if you don't, we can go into a free fall and you can ask me anything you want, and I will not hold back. What do you want to do? Want me to keep going? All right. So, also, building this company for 5 years, I targeted US, Canada, various other European places, and they're all picking up. But the first country that joined the movement of putting this in schools is Poland. I never asked them to do this. I never advertised in Poland. I never did anything there. I simply got up and spoke in Greece at a conference about something completely irrelevant, and someone asked me what it is that I do, and I said, I'm the founder of Heroes Made. And it stopped there. Whomever that person was, Google the company. So what I do is send a message to someone in Poland, and then they came and they're asking me to plug the system into their schools. So you never know who is going to be your first customer. You never know who's going to give you that push, and who's going to give you the money to start, and who's going to be your support system. You don't know unless you talk, and you don't know unless you show up. And that's very, very important. Nothing is going to happen unless you participate in life. Right? That's why I'm very big on engagement and conversation, and I don't like to just talk. I mean, I like to talk, but, All right, so keep that in mind. Don't be fixated on, like, if you're building any of these brilliant ideas, don't think that if the target market that you were going for is not excited about you, that's okay, you know? Perhaps it's meant for someone else to lead the way, and they will start, you know? So these are the things you need to learn to control with your mind, because that would have been a very easy moment for me to just be like, oh my God, I built this for this country and it's taking forever, and now I have all these blocks and policies and this and that, and I'm trying to find my way in, and I'd be like, fuck it, you know? But I didn't. I kept going until someone paid attention. So the next one is that enough with workshops, enough with reading books and watching videos, and da-da-da-da. Execution beats everything. Spending 10 minutes writing down something is better than spending 3 hours at a conference listening to someone like me. Okay? So execution is very important, and please take this seriously, because all of you, me included, have been and will be victims of waiting. Everybody's waiting, I don't know, about something. People are waiting. Someone to pay attention, someone to tell them, someone to show them, someone. No one will do that. Unless you ask. And maybe even then, they'll give you this much. You know, you've got to do it yourselves. So it takes a certain type of A personality to learn to push forward, okay? And it's up to you, 100%. You have exactly the same tools as everyone else. Brain. The next one is, and this ties back to my previous point, which is the network, right? You gotta show up here. You gotta show up at Student Innovators. You got to show up in accelerators. You got to show up in life. When you talk, don't talk about football only and the weather, and unless you're building something for the weather, and like, you know, I don't know, your friends and gossip. Don't talk about ideas. When you stand somewhere, talk about who you are. Show up about, like, who do you want to be in life? Show up like that person and talk about it with confidence. Be passionate about what you're trying to solve. Everybody that has literally been key people in my life, where people are met by chance, and just because I don't shut up and I talk, there are people that connected and they open doors for me. 3 key people that actually gave him a really hard time because I'm very stubborn. So you just never know. This guy, I don't know, I mean, I vaguely remember him in Greece. He opened the door to a whole country for me now. That's huge. To get in the educational system, reshape lives, you know? So you don't know who's going to be that person, and you don't know when you're going to miss that opportunity, so try not to miss that opportunity. Don't be timid, don't be shy. Own whatever it is you're thinking about, own it, do it. There is not a small idea, everything is a big idea. It's execution, and if you're solving a problem, you're doing what you're supposed to do in life. You're not here to be on a parasitic mode of consumption. You're here to bring something into the world, and that's what entrepreneurship is, okay? Most advice is useless, including mine. Now this, I say this because in the last 5 years, I've had so many people tell me their opinion. You have no idea how many people have an opinion about what I do. But none of them actually is an expert in the field. None of them is trying to build a company. None of them has walked down the path I'm walking. So why would I listen? You know, like let's say, would a doctor listen to me on how to perform a surgery, on my opinion? No, that would be stupid, you know? But for some reason, we don't apply that type of thinking outside of certain fields, you know? The idea is that nobody can tell you anything. You know what you need to do. You can take advice from people that are walking down the same path as you. You can learn together. Or if you find someone that has achieved something that you wish to achieve, you can ask them their opinion. Friends and family love you, but they will stop you. And it's an unfortunate global pandemic. That's what happens, you know. People are designed to hold people back. I don't know why. So be very careful not to allow that to happen. Your friend telling you you have a stupid idea is more of a reason to go for it. Okay, you don't need anybody's validation. One of the mistakes that I did, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you are going to start, okay, just a show of hands, you all had brilliant ideas. Who is thinking of actually giving it a shot? Show of hands. That's it? 4 people? Thank you so much. 4 people, everybody else is just going to let it be? Like you're kind of passionate the way you were talking about dogs. You're not going to do it? What are you thinking?
Έχει πολλά challenges γενικά του δόντου η τεχνολογία δύσκολη. Κάτι έτσι.
Okay. I mean, that's the point. If it's going to have a value that you're going to sell to people, it has to be something that's difficult. Otherwise, everybody will do it. So if it's not difficult, don't do it. It's stupid. If it's easy, and my daughter can do it, then why would I buy it from you? So a challenge means that it has value. So that's not a good reason. So think about another reason. I'm going to come back to that. What I did, which was wrong, is I waited for perfection in the product. Literally spent 2.5 years perfecting the ultimate tool that shapes minds under 10 years old. And then I decided I'm ready to sell. But being ready to sell, I should have started prospecting the day I started conceptualizing the idea, right? So everything has to run in parallel. Otherwise, if I wasn't as delusional and crazy as I am, this period between product and sales, which is a gap, it would have killed me, right? So try and avoid this gap by starting your strategy and your collecting leads, doing fake advertising just to get some emails, anything to collect some interest. So the day you launch, you have initial interest, whatever it is, however small, validation, so you can run with it, right? Don't wait. Like maybe like 6 months before product is ready, you should have people lining up to buy it. That's what Kickstarter is good for. If you have a business to client product, not for governments and all that, right? Does it make sense? No? Because if it doesn't, and if you're not saying yes, I want you to ask me questions. All right. Do I sound angry? Okay. This one, let me see what time is it. Okay. So, no one cares about how many times you're going to fail. And you heard it 1,000,000 times before. I have done a lot of stupid shit. Nobody cares. And I don't care about how many stupid shit everybody else does. It's kind of like caring that my kid fell down 20 times before she took her first step. It is mandatory to go through that. And every single mistake is not a mistake, it's a stepping stone to the next, to the next, to the next. And if you're averse to failure and you don't want to fail in any capacity, don't take this path. It is a guarantee you will make 1 billion stupid mistakes that are going to make you 1 billion times smarter than everybody else around you. Right? So if you want the glory, you've got to take the heat. Right? So if you don't have the personality to laugh it off and to put it behind you and to go forward, entrepreneurship is a bit challenging, not in the way that I meant before. It can take a hit on your mental well-being. But if you make a decision, which is the only way, because imagine if when, going back to that, when you were a kid and you took your first step and you fell, what if your mom decided that you cannot walk and she will never allow you to walk again because you fell that first time? You wouldn't be here today. You'll be at home with a mother that has a Munchausen syndrome and all that stuff, right? So it is mandatory that you fail, and it's okay that you do, and nobody will remember it, because the only thing they will know about you is the problem that you solved. And you can share your story because people appreciate authenticity, right? And I know it's important to have money to be able to move forward, but momentum is just as important. A small example. every time I were to raise money from investment, and I went and knocked on doors and I said, I need this many thousand to build this and to build that, I was always asked why. I mean, what are you going to do when you get this money? And how about the shit that I was saying I was going to do, I can do it without money. Right? So I was using the fact that I didn't have funding to delay myself from getting started. Most of the things, and especially now with all the tools that you guys have, you don't need money, and if you need money, we're talking about a small subscription fee here and there. You can get started without having the money that was needed 5 years ago for startuppers to get started, right? Both are important. You need money to scale. You need money to hire people before you start bringing in the yes, all that is good, but you don't necessarily need money to create your MVP, your minimum viable product that will help you draw in people, validate, and then push, okay? And this is the last thing, and this is not anything that it's advice in any capacity, but I do believe, and if you speak to any founder out there around the world, this is the most worthwhile thing you're going to ever do. Not because of the problem that you solve, which is just as important, but because of what you learn in the process. There isn't a single industry and a single field that has a capacity to push you as a human to overcome a lot of existing barriers that are kind of solid in any other industry. This is the only industry that will push you to overcome that. Nothing else. No corporate, no job, no nothing. Right? So, because there's nobody to follow. You are it. You're going to have to learn to take responsibility, and that alone is huge in life. So if you guys want to try and do something, you can ask for this, right? This is an 8-week plan on how to bring your idea to reality, okay? This is a very simple thing, and this is not all-inclusive. I just put some ideas here. So if we go into week 1, you decide on the problem. You all have a problem. Then you're going to think of 3 possible solutions, the forms that this would take. Then you go into a quick business plan. I have templates. I can share them with you. It's not a big deal if you want them. There are a billion online, but there's a better way to do a business plan, which doesn't require more than a day, you know, and also meets the criteria of everyone that's going to want to read it, including the Ministry of Economics, to give you the stamp of approval that you're an innovator, which allows you to get on lists and get money from a lot of people in Cyprus, right? So there is a lot of things you can do. So then you have SIN, SIEC, billion accelerators, not billion, like we have tens of accelerators there. There is a lot globally. In Cyprus, we have a healthy amount that can absorb your idea and help you, give you seed money, put you in a network, right? And it all starts with an idea. All of these things are not supposed to have a solid company. Like, accelerators don't want you to go if you have a product or a solid company or revenue. They want you to go exactly as you're here today, with just an idea. And they want to show you how to put it together, right? So you're all ready if you want to do this. And there is many options out there. Then you have validating your idea. You have how to explore for funding. You have getting your first user. And then you have finding a partner, mentor, or industry connection. And that literally gives you, in 8 weeks, an actual product, like software product, doesn't matter, that you can step on and apply for grants, get people to join you, get into accelerators, run within, and within a year, you could literally be solving the problem, maybe not in the best capacity because everything has a version 1 and a version 2 and a version 3, but in a really good capacity and edging out the market. So it's just 8 weeks. And it's just a couple hours a day. It's very, like, generally I feel like everybody makes this like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. You just have to make a decision, I'm going to do this. And these are the 8 things I need to do. And now we're going to talk. Do you feel like you learned anything here today? Yes, no? Okay. Show of hands. Yes. Great. Now I'm going to ask you what you learned. Alright. Tell me, it doesn't have to be something groundbreaking, but something that makes more sense now. You. Yeah. Grigor. doesn't matter.
Η διαφορετική παρουσίαση με διαφορετική άλλες φορές που ήταν πιο θεωρητικές, πιο πολύ πληροφορία σε slides, θεωρώ πως η σημερινή έκαμε το λίγο πιο, να φαίνεται πιο possible.
It is very possible. That's why I said, like conferences and workshops and stuff are only going to drive you deeper in the hole of shit. There's a whole bunch of stuff I don't know, so F this. You know what I mean? That's what, it's like, I feel like this is what the system is designed to do, to make everybody feel like they don't know something. There's nothing to know. You already know the problem you want to solve, and these are the 8 steps to solve it. Bulletproof. So yeah, I'm glad I gave you that impression. That's what I was going for. You know, to give you the impression that, yeah, I can put 2 hours a day, just play around at night, ChatGPT or whatever, you know, AI you guys like to use, and see what I can come up with. What did you learn, if anything? Yes. You do good eye contact, so I'm sorry for picking on them.
Βασικά, το που πάντα σήμερα είναι ότι πρέπει να κάνεις μια απλή κίνηση, να σηκώσεις τις πούγκαλα σου, την αμφίφερης Netflix και να κάνεις την ίδια σου πραγματικότητα. Και το άλλο ότι πρέπει να είσαι συγκεκρισμένος και να ακολουθήσεις κάποια βήματα έτσι ώστε να επιτύχεις. Και το άλλο ότι με μια απλή κουβέντα, δηλαδή στο να μιλήσεις στον άλλο και να αφήσεις να περάσει απλώς μπροστά σου, μπορεί να σου ανοίξει πολλές πόρτες.
You have no idea how many opportunities you guys missed already, and I haven't missed in my life, just by not talking. And I'm not talking about business only. It could be friendships, relationships, anything. You have no idea how much we all miss every day by simply not participating and waiting for someone else to pull us in, you know? So if you believe that you are in control of your life, then that's the only logical conclusion, that you have to do this. Otherwise, you're not. I mean, that's my math. I don't know if my math makes sense to everybody. Thank you. That's very nice. Anybody else has anything to what? Yeah. Yeah. Πριν να μου πες την ιδέα σου, οπότε...
Εγώ θεωρώ ότι βασικά πρέπει να σταματήσω το overthinking. Εγώ κάνω πολύ overthinking, ας πούμε, πριν κάνω κάτι.
Yeah, that's a big trap. Oh, I did it for so long. You have no idea. I spent, like, I can literally put, I know the years I spent overthinking. I know, like, it's actually in the years. It's not like in the days or in the, of like me pausing everything and just thinking. To conclude that I was right.
Και εγώ θεωρώ ότι σταματάμε να κάνουμε τη σκέψη με τι μπορεί να γίνει, τι εμπόδια να έχουμε, οπότε ξεκινώ κάνω.
What do you think would break that for you?
Να σταματήσω να σκέψουμε τι είναι από την πόλεμη.
Okay, what does, oh yeah, why don't you give a shit what everybody else is saying? And it's your life. Oh yeah, please get over that. Please, everybody. I don't care what anybody has to say. I mean, I respect and I love people, but unless I'm paying your bills or you're paying my bills, you have no right to tell me anything. You know, like it's whatever life you want to build for yourself and your family, you know. Yeah, so don't overthink. Execution beats everything. Execution, not thinking. Like, seriously, every day. Just push yourself to do one thing tomorrow that you wouldn't do and that you would think about doing. Tomorrow morning, do it. I don't know what it is. Please. Please, anything. It could be like jumping up and down, or it could be like even small things break up. My husband this morning, I was having my coffee, and he literally comes in the, because we work from home, he's in the company, he does product management and design. And he's really the brand. He's the brand. Everything is from his brain. I'm the business mind, and I'm the one that pushes and secures funding and builds connections, but he's the design and everything that you will see on the platform. And he came to me and he says, do you think I'm in control of my brain? He's from the United States, and so he's very loud and very entertaining. So I was like, yeah. Because, I mean, if anybody is, it's him. Like, he's got a very strong brain. He's like, all right then, I'm going to do a flip. I was like, dude, you're going to break your fucking head. Don't do it. You know, because, like, he wants to do, like, a backflip in the living room. And we had, like, chairs, the tables, and I was like, don't do it. He's like, I'm in control of my brain. I was like, yes, you are. I'm going to do it. I was like, don't do it. He's like, I'm going to do it. Watch me. And he did a backflip, and he did it perfectly. And he says, all right, now I'm gonna buy coffee. And he left. Like small things like that. I'm not shitting you. Like this is the stuff that he does that pushes him out of his comfort zone. He could have sat on his phone like I was doing, you know, because I'm, everything I said I'm a victim of. That I'm either already defeated or I'm trying to defeat. You know, like I'm not a stranger to these things that I told you today. It's things that I went through, right? But he doesn't do that. Whatever he thinks, it's like, I'm in control, I'll do it. So do that, do a backflip. I'm not going to do a backflip. It's highly dangerous, he got lucky. So, anybody else has learned anything? What?
I have a question about
yes!
About your company.
Yes.
I noticed that education is becoming easier and easier. And this lack of hardship, what you're describing in the life of an entrepreneur is about hardship. It's about
it doesn't have to be, it's a mindset, but a lot of people don't enter it because of the idea that it's going to be hard. And it's not hard, it's hard because we're stubborn and we're stupid. But go ahead.
I think there's a more degree of uncertainty.
Yes.
So you need to learn more things. So there's more demand on you, right? And when you put more demand on someone, they learn more.
Yes.
And in school, in education, the demands are gradually becoming less academic. And I believe this also contributes to lack of emotional development. Because
oh yeah. Have you seen kids? Have you walked into an elementary school? Like, I don't know if you guys escaped it or how old you are. What are your ages? 20, 23, 19, 18? I don't know. Like, I can't tell. I'm 29. No, I'm not, but, you know, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So, yes, if you walk in a class now, and that's a major problem because I talk, these are my clients, right? The teachers in the schools. Kids, and that's why I don't like it when you just stare at me and you don't talk. It scares me. This is not the world I want to live in. I want to live amongst crazy people that want to make things happen, right? That's my ideal world. And how I'm going to create this? By forcing kids to take responsibility through social emotional learning. Because imagine if you didn't have to go through these loops in your head now to convince yourself that it was second nature to you, just like everything else is second nature. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, and you're absolutely right. Because they're losing a lot of...
Yeah, I'm just saying that part of the solution will also be to keep the academic thing hard. Because I noticed from my...
there is a school of thought, you know, I'm not in the academic part, I'm in the social emotional learning part, so I don't care how you mark. If you're well as a human, you will do better academically, and this is a 60-year-old study that has been done multiple times in many regions. Yes, they are connected. But I don't think that academic stuff has anything to do with success. Case point, because I was not a straight A student, I wasn't even a B student, I was a C student that barely went to school, I didn't go to college, I graduated with creative writing, I did what I had to do, but that wasn't for me. I wanted to create, I didn't want to follow, so it depends what kind of person you are, right? Academic things, hard academic things, yes, but not everybody's fit for that. And I think you're going to see in education a movement now, which is not because of anything outside of the natural evolution of things, just like AI, right? With AI coming in and making things simpler, it frees people up to do more with creativity and not so much with bureaucracy. So you're going to start seeing things getting easier, but that allows for new things to come to life because people are going to get more creative, hopefully, if we don't let them get lazy. That's why it's a balancing game. I lost you.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree. It's like, when we say academic, I think everyone has the capacity to learn, just that not everyone is interested in the same thing.
Yes.
So in a good design education, you have more freedom of what to learn and in which order you learn.
Oh yeah.
Eventually there will still be standards that you have to reach certain levels.
Yeah, of course you have to have standards to function, but I don't think things are going to get harder, things are going to get easier. That's not a good thing, you're right, but it's going to hopefully allow the creatives to come forward. I don't know, like you have to understand that for the past, if we take history, oh my God, it's raining. If we take history and we look back, you're going to see civilizations come and go, And there are certain characteristics with civilizations, and we have been in a civilization that has been very scientific the last, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years. That's what was respected. That's what people were expected to do. That's what families push their kids to do, right? And suddenly, it's only natural that that's now going to wind down, and you're going to go into the creatives, and then it's going to wind down, and it's going to get scientific again. It's a wave. A flat line means we're dead. So this is how it's going, and don't let it worry you. Do your thing. Build your company, solve problems. And if everybody does the same, we're in a good spot. Anybody else has anything to ask me? If I promise you that I will answer 100% honestly, without lying, regardless of how embarrassing it is, you can ask me anything you want about the journey of building a company, I will tell you. If you ever wondered something that nobody has said on a podcast, or if nobody has, you have one question. Is there anything you really want to know? You know it all? That's pretty good. All right, so, offer stance before I leave here today. You can ask for this presentation to be given to you guys by Christina, yeah, by Christina, who was here before. And you can use this, I'm sure, if you apply to the SINN competition, they have something for you to follow a similar process. This comes with some, if you go a little further, I do have some ideas, like tools for week 1, tools for week 2, tools that you need. All these are free tools. You don't need to pay for them, okay? So the first week you go here and you can do some research, get data. Week 2, week 3, week 4, 5, 6, it gives you all the tools where things are according to the actions that are placed on the previous slides. So everything's here. You can go ahead and try this and see what the end result is in 8 weeks. Right? There's even places where you can get funding. Anywhere from 1,000 to 500,000 is being released daily on the F6S platforms, Floro and Cascade. Anyone can apply, anyone can get the money to run any ideas. And actually, most of your ideas are compatible with things that are running right now in terms of grants, because there were a lot of ideas that had to do with impact and disability and environment and things like that. They usually have a lot of money for that.